Okay, David, tell us a bit about how you first got involved with BTR.
Oh, I'd say I was there almost at the beginning, but not quite at the very start. I first heard about it when Matthew came along to introduce the concept at the fan club meetings. He had a couple of basic scripts in his hands, Invasion of the Daleks. So I read through them. I thought it was pretty good, and I said I'd like to be in it. And so far here I am. I've played Daleks, Cybermen, Davros, all the big major roles. It's been fun.
And which have you found the most enjoyable story to work on thus far?
Oh, I'd say Sentinel. It had a good plot line, even if it has been done a couple of times before. Most of them have, though. And also, having come from playing the Daleks and Davros in Invasion of the Daleks, I just knew I was going to be cast as a cyber leader, even though I would have been happier playing some other role. But I like Sentinel because I think it was a good step up, and I hope I've been able to keep the standard up since then.
And so if I can take from your comments that Sentinel has been your favourite story thus far?
So far, yes.
Are you looking forward to any of the upcoming stories, like the ones we're working on at the moment, or working with any of the other concepts we've got, like the Alien Factor and Blake 7?
Yeah, I didn't actually watch much of Blake 7 when it was on. I only really got into it in the final season. But I think this spin-off we're preparing could work rather well. With the Alien Factor, it's different, it's original. From what I've heard of it so far, it does sound a little based a little on the X-Files, but as long as it's not excessively derivative, we should be able to do rather well with it.
Now you've worked in front of the camera, as it was, with
so
your as far as you can with audio. What about some of your roles behind it, like in sort of the production of the stories? Can you tell us a bit about what your work you do outside the studio?
Oh, basically, I assist with developing the script. It gets sent around in various formats, and it's laid out in a particular way, which I've actually found works better for shooting a movie. It doesn't necessarily follow that you can reflect the same thing in an audio script. So what I basically do is I'll tidy it up basically and put in suggestions basically of putting where sound effects can go in and layout of the dialogue, so it works better in post-prod. Like I don't really think I changed that much of it. I try not to. With Invasion of the Daleks, it was necessary because it was even as an adaptation, it still needed a bit of filing around the edges, and I'd like to think I did rather well with that, even though it was much of a committee effort, really.
And how long would it take you to normally, like from when you get the script to when it's finished, how long would the process take, and how do you sort of tackle it?
Depends on how long the script is. If I don't do anything else, I can get it done in a week most nights, because I do have a day job. I can really work on BTR material after hours or on weekends. Like, for example, able to come along here on Good Friday. I wouldn't be able to do it if I were working. I'll work on that most nights when we have a project in. It can take a reasonable full-part story. It can take about a week, possibly two. Depends on whether or not I strike something that I have to really think through to lay it out properly.
And how would you, when you get the script, how would you, what are your initial ideas about how to tackle it? Like, is it the same approach each time, or do you sort of sit down and think about each script differently?
Oh, I basically try to follow the same process, because all I'm really doing is changing how it's laid out on the page. The actual content still remains what was originally sent to me from the writers. I just lay it out differently, hopefully in a much more concise way. So it's easy to follow when we're actually doing recordings and doing post-prod.
And have you followed much of the fan audio industry outside of BTR?
Not really, no. I never really got into... I bought The Paradise of Death when it was released the first time on cassette. it was a, you could say, it was a bit of an inconvenience for me that it wasn't released on CD at the time, which it will be now. That was the only really big audio purchase I made. I've also heard of Slipback, and what was the other one? Well, the other one that was the Ghost of N-Space. That's right. I heard about those, but didn't really listen to them or even picked them up when they were purchased. BTR's the first audio group I've really been involved with, and apart from that, I'd say this is really the most I've been involved with any fan audio so far.
Have you heard many of the Big Finish releases yet?
Oh yeah, I've got Phantasmagoria and Signs of Time. Phantasmagoria I found you really had to concentrate on, otherwise you'd lose the flow of the story altogether. Signs of Time was a little easier in that respect. But they're the only two Big Finish audios I've got so far. I may buy more. May still be available, and whether it's a good story involved in them.
And what do you see as, do you think BTR has a good future ahead of it?
Big question. It depends a lot on how well it can stand up on its own. Admittedly, most of us have come out of the Brisbane Doctor Who fan club to begin with, and that was where the idea was originally floated. But with the fan club gone, it's up to BTR to become more self-sufficient. Only then can it be really guarantee you any success.
Any ideas about how BTR can continue in the future? Independently of the Brisbane Doctor Who fan club?
I think it can do, yes. Basically depends on who we can get interested to work on it, and who'd be willing to put in the effort to make the BTR product good enough that it will still create an audience for itself.
And one final question, do you see BTR, now that the Brisbane Doctor Who fan club has folded, do you see BTR's focus should still be on Doctor Who fans, or should it alter its charter, for want of a better word, to focus more on Joe Public, as it were, and sort of try and bring people into the mythology rather than looking inwards to people who are already involved? Do you think it should sort of spread its wings a bit and try and bring other people who wouldn't necessarily be involved in something that's connected with Doctor Who?
I think that's what a lot of the audio companies have found so far. They do have the fan audience base there. They need to bring in the casual listeners or viewers, for want of a better word, as well. So it's not something that unique that BTR has to face on its own. We should theoretically be able to take cues from how others have gone before, like Light Hope, Big Finish, Zendignite Floor 10. They all still have a good fan base audience, but how well they appeal to the casual audience should be something that BTR can at least have a look at and possibly develop a strategy from there.
What is your opinion of the Doctor Who fan community in general? Is it a good community to be involved in, or a negative one that it should be avoided at all costs?
It's up to the individual. In any community, you'll get some people who you would think twice about associating with. You get this great hysteria about people on the net who may be racists or pedophiles or people you just generally avoid. But you get that sort of thing in any community. It's not unique to the net, it's not unique to Doctor Who fandom, it's not unique to motorsport fans, it's not unique to role players or anything like that. It's not even unique to anime aficionados or whatever they call themselves. In general, the fan community is a positive one. You do get some people who take it too far. You get that in any walk of life. So if you are a little nervous about coming to a fan community, I know I once was, way back in August 1990 when I first heard of the Brisbane Doctor Who fan club. August 91, I first heard about the Doctor Who fan club. And I first went to their barbecue in November 91. I was nervous as all hell about the sort of people I was introducing himself to the sort of people he's interacting with. But I got on well with him. I feel I've got on well with him well enough. I also feel I've screwed a couple of things up in the last couple of years, but it can happen. So I wouldn't say avoid anything like the plague, because you can only get out of it what you're prepared to put into it. Some things haven't gone as well as expected. You get that, whatever you do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is a wrap.
Yay!
Insofar as we can call it a wrap, because we haven't finished all the scenes. But this particular session is wrapped up in a nice little bowl on the top of the thing. Stop following me around. Hey.
Close cool at it.
Time to fuck off, eh? Time to fuck off.
Close cool at it.
Yeah. You've been bloody following us around for so many hours now. Why don't you just fuck off? I mean, you're bloody pay like Nosferatu's grandfather, for fuck's sake.
What he fucking said. Oh, fuck off!
For fuck's sake.
Fucking